Hey guys, how's it going? So this is going to be a short vlog today. This past weekend was a little heavy. September 11th, 2001. I was in 5th grade. This is just a quick message to all our first responders, to military veterans, active duty personnel, and to those families who lost loved ones on the September 11th, 2001 attacks. So like everyone probably was thinking on Saturday, this past Saturday of 9/11, where were we on the day of September 11th, 2001? I was in 5th grade when that all went down. I remember I was in Mrs. Nichols' classroom and we didn't really know what was going on. The 6th graders, the 7th graders, and the 8th graders, they were allowed to kind of watch the news throughout the day and everything. In 5th grade, we were not allowed to do that. We went about the day, but the principal did come in, and Mr. Primavera, our principal at the time, did come in, and he talked about kind of what had happened. And I remember him just kind of being a little bit just shocked at this whole thing, and just kind of like not really understanding kind of what was really going on, and he was trying to hold things back for us kids. The only thing that he told us was that bad men had crashed planes into the World Trade Center in New York City. And at the time, I had no idea what the World Trade Center was in New York City. I knew what New York City was. I knew it was a big city, lots of big buildings and everything. I had no idea what the World Trade Center was at the time. All I knew was that planes had crashed in it and that people have died. That is the extent of what I understood and knew at the time. And I still didn't really quite grasp really what was going on because I was still so young. I mean, I was only like 10 years old. We didn't really know what was going on. Are we being attacked? Are we going to war? What's going on? People were afraid. Now, 20 years later, I understand and I realize kind of what had happened and what that impact had on our nation, because it shifted our entire policy. It shifted everything in a completely different direction. All those individuals who lost their lives on the 9/11 attacks, there was so much bravery throughout that day, even though a lot of lives were lost. The first responders, the firefighters, the police officers, the nurses, the doctors, the chaplains, they ran into these buildings. They ran into the Twin Towers. It was burning. We had no idea. They didn't know if they were going to come out alive. Their only thought was, I got to get in there and I got to save lives because that's my job. And that is commendable, and that is amazing that they were able to run into danger so that other people like myself, who's not a first responder, who's not a nurse, not a doctor, all that kind of stuff, can live my life. They put their lives down on the line so that others could live. That is the ultimate sacrifice, and that is the ultimate gift that they could give, not just to mankind, not even to God, but just to our country. This past weekend, guys, I was doing a Stairmaster climb, and I did 110 floors. As I was climbing, I was listening to live feed in New York City, and they were listing off the names of everyone who died in the September 11th attacks, guys, and it was so emotional for me, guys. I don't know any of these people at all. But by the fact that we are Americans, the fact that we are so connected in this idea of moving this country forward and trying to build a better nation for each other, it was so emotional because those individuals who passed away were American citizens, American individuals, American heroes, American people who just wanted to live their life, who wanted to work hard for their family, and wanted to live in a great nation. For the first time in my life, throughout all of history, I've read and I've researched the times that America has come together in times of crisis. I had never witnessed that in my entire life until 9/11. We came together as a nation. Today, I think we've forgotten that. I think we've forgotten this idea of what being united is. We have been so separated on so many different issues, and we can't seem to have any type of conversation with each other about anything right now. Yeah, it's going to be tough conversations, and yeah, it's going to be really uncomfortable. But you know what? For the memory of those individuals who lost their lives on 9/11, I think we need to have these conversations. I think we need to stop being so divided as a nation. I think that we need to stop listening to fake science or fake news or whatever the frick that you're listening to, and we just need to listen to each other as a nation to understand why it is we came to those conclusions. And maybe by listening to one another, we may come together and bring pieces of our arguments together to create something even better. If we don't start listening to each other as Americans, if we don't start trying to come together to just to understand each other. In my opinion, I don't know if we're honoring those individuals well. I believe in this country. I believe that we can make things work. I believe that we can come together as a country. I believe that we can. We need to start listening to each other. And the honor and memory of those who lost their lives on 9/11, for those men and women who went into harm's way to save lives, for our military personnel who lost their lives throughout the past 20 years in a war on terror, for everyone who was affected by 9/11 and everything since then. God bless you, and God bless America.